As you might know, Helium 5G mining is only available in the US and not in the rest of the world. Thankfully, there is a little workaround and we're going to discuss this in this video. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what Helium or Helium 5G is, be sure to check out the video I made on this topic earlier. It will pop up now in the top right corner. Also, if you don't follow the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button right now. In this video, we're going to take a look at Heliumdeploy. So Heliumdeploy is a reseller of Helium equipment. This means the IoT equipment, the 5G equipment, and so forth. So they're not a manufacturer, but they are a company based in Canada, and they have a whole range of different solutions. And one of them is what we can see here, 5G miners hosted in the US. Before diving into the whole Heliumdeploy concept, I do like to mention that the Genesis period is being extended. As we can see on the official Helium Discord, we see the post in the official announcements right here. So if you're on the fence whether or not to jump into this project because the Genesis period was coming to an end, then this is of course very good news because you'll have an extra 2 months to enjoy the Genesis period. In case you're wondering what the Genesis period means, basically it means as soon as you turn on a mobile hotspot, you will be getting rewards regardless of the coverage. So initially I was a bit hesitant to do a video about this project and this company. They sent an email to a bunch of influencers back in August. The email was kind of personalized, but the email was sent to everyone in CC. So yeah, it was clearly not personalized, even though they tried to do it that way. So that was a little bit unprofessional and I didn't give it much thought after that. When I was doing my video on the 5G solution of Bobcat, I actually saw on the official 5G webpage of Helium that Heliumdeploy was listed as an ecosystem partner. And that of course made me rethink that these guys might actually be legit and this little email mess up was just a mistake, and let's be honest, all of us can make mistakes. So yeah, I reached out to them again, sat down, did a little call and got a little bit more information on how the whole project works. When we go to the Heliumdeploy website, as always, I'll put a link in the description of this video. You can go to the website directly or you can use my affiliate link if you want to support the channel, of course. So yeah, if we click here on shop, the first thing you will notice is, of course, that they have all the regular hardware. They even have ASIC miners, as we can see. The one thing that pops out, of course, is this video of this gentleman right here, and this is a person that is hosting his location for somebody else to put up an antenna and a 5G setup. So if you click here, they also recently updated the website. As you can see, we can click watch host video. These are videos of these people introducing themselves, so this way you can see that there are real people behind it. You can also see what kind of setup they have. Let's just click on this one. So on this page we can see that it's a setup with a Freedom 5G and it has 3 base cell radios. So it's not a 1 radio setup, but it's a 3 radio setup. And scrolling down, you also see which wallet is linked to it, so you can actually see what is being earned with this miner at this moment. On this page we can see the statistics, and of course 5G statistics are very important for us. So on the 5G statistics we will see if the hotspot is online, if the speed test is acceptable, and so forth. So this one specifically has acceptable upload speed, download speed, and acceptable latency. Right now in a Genesis period it doesn't really matter, but in the future these statistics will become very important. Let's go back to the general statistics, and over here we see the earnings. It is very important that you ignore this number when it comes to the mobile tokens. So these earnings are the IoT earnings. So yes, a 5G mobile hotspot can also earn IoT earnings within it, but of course this is not the main source of income. If you want to know how much mobile tokens this hotspot earns, you will have to click on the wallet of the owner of this specific hotspot, and you can find it right here. So once we click here, again we see the same dollar amount, but again at this point there is no official value for the mobile token, so it's not calculated within this result. This, however, is more important for us, and over here we see that this specific wallet has accrued over 500,000 mobile tokens. Very important to keep in mind, it is possible that a specific wallet has multiple 5G hotspots. To check this, we click here on hotspots, and we see that this specific wallet only has 1 mobile hotspot up and running. So this means that he got 500,000 of mobile tokens with this just 1 specific hotspot. How much this 500,000 tokens is worth? Again, we have to make an estimate of what the mobile token will be worth, and then we use the tool provided to us by Bobcat. So yeah, as you can see, you can find all the information you need about the different setups on the product page. You also see what the split will be, so the host will get 20% of the rewards and you'll get 80% of the rewards. Another very interesting thing is the host owner agreement. When we click this, it will open PDF, and this has all the details that you have between you and the host. It will also show you that you remain the owner. It will show you exactly what happens in all the conditions, if something breaks, and so forth. Long story short, this is something you have to read before doing any purchases. It is also important to note that the agreement will be between you and the owner and not between you and Heliumdeploy. Right, let's talk a little bit about prices, because as we can see, the prices are pretty hefty. $10,000, $12,000, these are no small investments. Thankfully, more will be onboarded soon. As you can see here, these are new ones coming up, and the basic one will be $4,000. So we're going to use this price as a reference. So this is a bundle with a Freedom Fi gateway and then one base cell radio, and the price would be $4,000 for it to be completely installed and ready to go. The question, of course, is it worth $4,000? Well, to figure this out, let's click on shop and then go to hotspots, and then we see the prices of the individual hardware. So the one setup with one radio is this one. It's one base cell plus a Freedom Fi 5G, and as we can see, the price is $2,500, and this is very similar to the setup that we saw in the last video where we had a Mosa Labs radio combined with a Bobcat gateway. Nonetheless, $2,500 is not $4,000. This means that we would be paying $1,500 for the installation and to have everything set up and ready to go. I think this is a pretty hefty price point. On the other hand, like I said, it is ready to go, it is working, and you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to find a host, you don't have to buy the hardware, you don't have to ship anything, you don't have to set it up. It's all ready to go. On the other hand, $1,500 is not cheap. It's not small change. Thankfully, Heliumdeploy is working on more solutions. In one of the emails I sent out this week, I found another interesting tool. For some reason, I don't find any links directly to it, so I'll just jump straight to the web page that I found in the email. So this is the tool that I'm talking about. This is actually a very handy system to help you find a host for your hardware. So yes, this means that if you buy a setup yourself for $2,500, you can actually decide to contact one of these people, because all of these people are willing to host a 5G setup. So what could we do is, if we want this one, we just click on it, it opens up the details. So this one wants a 50-50 split rather than an 80-20 split. Then you can contact the host and you can ask them if they want to set up the 5G setup for you. So what you do is you buy the setup that you want, whether it's the Bobcat one or the Freedom Fi one. You order the product, you ship it to the person that you have selected, and then they will be setting up the whole system. Now, I do think it's important to look at different options out there, because as we can see, some of them ask 50-50, this one asks 80-20, another one might be asking 70-30, and so forth. It is also important to find out if the host is willing to do the setup themselves, because if they are not willing to do it, you'll have to find somebody who is able and willing to install it on their location. Thankfully, again, Heliumdeploy has a solution for this. If we click here on Key 5G resources, you will find an installer. So yeah, basically Heliumdeploy is making a database of people who are qualified to install these products and get them up and running. The last tool that they're working on is Sell Your Helium 5G Miner. Right now, this is still a very simple tool. It's a type form that you have to fill in, but the basic idea is that you buy a setup and then you resell it, but you don't just resell it, you keep a revenue sharing system in place. So for example, we buy one for $2,500 and then we're willing to sell it for $1,500 to somebody else who is willing to install it, and in return we will still be getting 20% of the revenue. Long story short, even though they had a little hiccup, in my opinion, with their communication, it seems that they are doing a real effort to create very creative solutions for people to get into the 5G ecosystem. As with most of my videos, I like to highlight the different risks that you're taking. So in this case, you're spending a whole lot of money, either $2,500 or at least $4,000 for a complete hosted setup. And that's not a small amount if you ask me. So that is a big risk by itself. And when you're using the hosted service, you don't have the products in your hand. You're actually trusting someone else to host them for you and to keep them online. The only thing that you will have is the contract, and sadly the contract is between you and the person hosting. Thankfully, it is a contract, so it's legally enforceable, but if something goes wrong, you will have to sue the person in the US, and that might be a challenge, of course. On the other hand, if something goes wrong, Heliumdeploy, of course, has a reputation to uphold. So if there is a problem with the host, you can definitely go to Heliumdeploy and we'll try to mitigate the situation. Lastly, I do want to highlight that the premium you're paying for a hosted miner is definitely significant. It does mean that you really don't have to do anything. You just do the payment, there is no negotiation with the host, it's already installed, it's up and running, you can see how it's performing. So there's definitely an upside, but there's a cost that comes with it. The other option is, of course, that you buy your own hotspot, that you use the Heliumdeploy tool to find a host, you contact the host, and then you find a way to get the installation done. This will take a little bit more time, but of course you will be saving a lot more on the whole process. Long story short, it is a big investment, it is a big risk, but at least now there is a way for people in Europe or outside of the US to get involved in the Helium 5G project, and this still within the Genesis period, which is of course the most interesting period to get started. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you want to support the channel, be sure to use the affiliate link in the description of this video. If you didn't sign up yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you got any questions, just type them in a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.